suspects caught, 4 others escape in failed armed robbery. Suspected child rapist apprehended in Madang. And 4 girls killed in a road accident laid to rest.
This is National EMTV News with Tokana Hasavi.
A very good evening to you and thanks for joining me with Friday's news. There was an armed robbery attempt today along Waigani Drive in Port Moresby by a group of individuals at around 11 a.m. The suspects tried to rob the Palm Grove head office and drove off in a white Honda CR-V before they were chased down by security firm Rapid Response Unit. However, only one was captured, the others escaped. EMTV's Shane Saroya has this report.
According to the security guard who mended the gate at the time of the incident, it was around 11 a.m. when a white Honda CR-V pulled up in front of the gate and demanded entry. The security guard told EMTV that there were 5 passengers in the vehicle, so he told them there were too many of you, so he couldn't let them pass. But they insisted he let them in, claiming they came from 14 Mile and have matters of importance to discuss with the manager. After arguing with the guard, they drove up the road some couple of meters away and dropped off 2 of their members before driving back. This time, with no hesitation, they approached the guard. What the guard described as a Magnum 9mm rifle. He was held at gunpoint and told to open the gate. The guard helplessly opened the gate and they went inside. But they were spotted by another security firm who were on standby to provide escort outside the gate. According to the security guard, who wishes to remain anonymous, said the suspect fired a couple of warning shots before making a dash down the road. Rapid Response Unit was in pursuit of the suspect before taking him down across the road. Soon after, the police arrived at the scene and took control of the situation. The other 2 suspects ran away with the CR-V Honda, and the police are currently in pursuit of the suspects. However, attempts were made to speak to the homegrown management on that matter were declined. Meanwhile, only 1 of the suspects were apprehended and taken into custody by police, while 4 of the suspects still remains at large. Shane Saroya, National EMTV News.
Newly appointed Lae Metropolitan Commander Anthony Wagambi Jr. says he will look to create a working relationship with the Lae community to curb law and order problems. He takes over reins from newly appointed Acting Police Commissioner Ivan Lakatani in a ceremony today. Acting Police Commissioner Lakatani says he is satisfied with how he has led the Lae Metropolitan Command for the last 2.5 years. EMTV's Bethany Harriman reports from Lae.
The second largest city will be under the command of former East New Britain police boss Anthony Wagambi Jr. Chief Superintendent Ivan Lakatani is Port Moresby bound to take up his new post as Acting Police Commissioner. Lakatani says he is satisfied with the 2 years he spent as the man in charge of Lae City's police force.
Getting down to the communities and working with the communities, it's one of the biggest achievements, I think. Especially like West Taraka used to be a notorious place, but when I reopened the station and especially going to the community itself, talking with the people, mingling with the people, it has helped a lot in police in West Taraka, also Bumbu compound.
New Metropolitan Superintendent Anthony Wagambi Jr. in his first address to the Lae Metropolitan Command says he wants police officers to be polite, respectful and considerate in a manner toward the community.
I would like to see that police here are more productive, more proactive in a sense of police visibility, and reactive. They have to respond fast to incidents when they are reported. So that's my priority areas.
The former Madang and East New Britain Provincial Police Commander says involving the community in police operations is the future of enforcing law in the industrial hub.
The Lae metropolitan area has been plagued with crime, ranging from armed hold-ups, robberies, rapes and murders, even ethnic clashes. The new Lae Metropolitan Superintendent Anthony Wagambi Jr. says the only way to curb the problem is through a healthy relationship with communities. Now, healthy relationship with any member of the community, he says. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News, Lae.
Well, today, family, friends, relatives and Lae residents farewelled the 4 girls killed after a car hit them at Lae's Cassia Crescent. A funeral service was held at the Sir Ignatius Kilage Indoor Complex. Acting Lay Police Boss Chief Inspector Timothy Pomoso says the driver was arrested yesterday. He appeared in court and has been charged. Once again, EMTV's Bethany Harriman with this report.
Today at the Sir Ignatius Kilage Indoor Stadium, Jamilia Kaimala, Vivian Andy, Magdalene Sila and Delta Cappers were farewelled by family, friends and the lay public. Friends from Lay Secondary and family members said their final goodbyes. From all sides of the indoor stadium, seats were filled, and in the center, the 4 caskets set. They will be buried in Lay's State Cemetery. Their deaths came as a shock on the 10th of this month to the Lay community. They were hit by a car and killed after coming from an outing at the Huon Gulf swimming pool. The car hit 5 girls, including a baby. The mother and her baby survived. The mother's leg had to be amputated to save her life. 4 were killed: Vivian and Jamilia from Lay Secondary, Magdalene, a Year 10 student, and Delta was a Unitec graduate accountant working with OTML.
This afternoon, Lay's acting police boss, Chief Inspector Timothy Pomoso, confirmed the driver that drove the vehicle that hit and killed 4 girls at Lay's Cassia Crescent has been arrested and charged. He faced court yesterday, charged with 4 counts of dangerous driving causing death and 1 count of dangerous driving causing severe bodily harm. This police work comes as a relief to the relatives and friends of the 4 girls. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News, Lay.
National Capital District Governor Powis Parkup has cautioned the opposition on the purported vote of no confidence. As far as he is concerned, there will be a no-show on the 27th of this month when Parliament sits. He is confident the government will still remain till 2017.
National Capital District Governor and leader of the Social Democratic Party, Powis Parkup, is the latest member to have come out in support of the ruling coalition government. He is confident the government is intact and will remain until the people decide in 2017. He has a word of caution for those fueling the hype surrounding the vote of no confidence.
Those people in our city and around the country who are lining themselves up, expecting that there will be a major event on the 27th, especially contemplating a change of government. I want to caution them that they should, move away from that type of hype.
Parkup says the People's National Congress Party is capable of governing itself and does not need smaller parties given its current numbers at 64 MPs. The opposition claims it has the numbers to move a motion on the vote of no confidence. However, the governor is still not convinced.
I don't think they have the numbers, so they should just, as I said, don't subject our people to stress and agony and create a hype that will be a no-show and people will be disappointed.
Parkup is content with the performance of the government and called on other members of parliament to support the ruling coalition. He says the country is faced with a lot of challenges brought on by the El Nino and drop in commodity prices. This requires leadership at the political level, and all members of parliament should unite to mitigate the consequences of these challenges. Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
The National Alliance Party opened its Moresby branch office in Ley today. The event was attended by National Alliance movers and shakers. Key among them was former Prime Minister and party founder Sir Michael Somare. Officials have not released the party's plans for the region, but say this is an important step for the NA. Party leader and Treasury Minister Patrick Pruach is also in Ley tonight to mark the occasion. Well, among stories after this break, Governor Parkup responds to the removal of graves in NCD. That story and more after this break. Good to have you back with National EMTV News. Concerns on the removal of graves have reached the attention of the National Capital District Commission. Governor Powis Parkup is aware of the concerns raised by the landowners. He says it is a delicate and sensitive issue and NCD is approaching the issue in an appropriate manner.
The removal of 84 graves to make way for a four-lane road has become contentious. Landowners felt they have been misled by the National Capital District Commission to exhume the remains of their loved ones.
It was never purchased. So what they're doing, what NCD is illegal. You can't come and put a backhoe on a land that you have not purchased.
According to NCD Governor Pois Pakup, consultation was held with the landowners prior to the road construction. He says the road under construction has been there since colonial times. Formalities to have the road come under NCD began in 1994.
The entire road reserve is owned by NCDC. We've got title to the road. If there are issues with compensation, that's something that should have taken place between the National Government, Department of Lands, and our respective communities in Gabi and Elavala and Bariaba.
Pakup has asked the landowners to make adjustments to allow for road work to progress. He says several business houses and individual families have had to do the same for previous road constructions.
This exercise not affect only villages and cemeteries. We have asked everybody to make adjustments, so I respect and we all sympathize with the concerns of our people in Elavala, but I want to ask them to follow the cue of their fellow villagers in Gabi.
Initial plans of the road were to go by the sea, but the economics of it did not allow. As a result, the best option was to develop a bypass. Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
Well, people from a small village tucked away on the border of Simbu and Eastern Highlands have challenged the government to build a road connecting them to their provincial capital of Goroka. Maimafu, a collection of 4 villages with 800 people in the Lufa district, told EMTV News that their lives have been plagued with transportation problems for as long as they can remember. Maimafu is situated near gold deposits that mining companies are eyeing.
Maimafu is a name used for 4 small villages. They're situated on mountain ridges in the Lufa district of the Eastern Highlands and cut off from their provincial capital of Goroka. This is an area that is potentially rich in minerals, but the rugged terrain has long prevented investors from coming here. Like many other rural areas, access is difficult, and for this trip, a temporary helipad was dug out on the side of the mountain for the helicopter.
This place sits on the border of the Eastern Highlands, Simbu and Gulf provinces. And today is the first time that government funding has actually reached this small village. 10,000 kina has been used to build a women's resource center. And this seemingly insignificant project has brought the head of the province.
The Eastern Highlands governor was invited here by a local women's group. And this is the first time a group of women has received high-level political attention. While the women celebrated the opening of a new resource center, the men issued a challenge to the national government. Roads and bridges for this isolated village is key if they are to sell cash crops and become self-sufficient.
You look him on something. You know what the road Logan, you give him come. Me plala need him Loris la priority, you give him come.
I'm rotasol. So me plan need him desla.
There's a mine being developed nearby, and one of the conditions for the mine development is for a road to link Goroka and the people living in far-flung villages like the Maimafu group.
2016 budget pla me, ba me put one pla 2 million kina go inside to send me committee pinis na kam. 2 million kina go lo just walking all track road. Pilot road number. So there's la tractor so that inside there's la at least he got some la car or he can go get a place where line stop.
But while the governor makes plans for 2016, she's also pointed out that the Eastern Highlands provincial government, like Morobe, still has not received the outstanding balance of more than 30 million kina of its provincial service improvement program funds. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Goroka.
As grade 12 students around the country end their first week of national examinations, questions about the lack of capacity at tertiary institutions still remain. This week, the Minister for Higher Education, Malakai Tabar, said steps are being taken to address this issue. Just over 5,000 students will make it into university out of the 24,000 grade 12 students sitting for the national exams.
Minister Tabar explained this week that work is being done to address the limited spaces at tertiary level. He said existing universities will be given funding in the 100 millions under the Rehabilitation Recapitalization Program to help those tertiary institutions expand their capacities to cater for the growing number of students coming out from secondary schools with university qualifications. But the major intervention by the ministry is the open university concept for every district.
And we would like to make sure the open university concept is effectively rolled out. So every district.
The other solution being looked at is building new universities. The minister and his team will be visiting Yalibu in the Southern Highlands province to resolve land issues at the site of the proposed Western Pacific University.
But we will be up there. We just would like to meet the landowners and effectively start some strong deliberations on a process through which we resolve the land issue.
Mr. Tabar announced that the value of the government's fee component of the Tertiary Education Scholarship Assistance Scheme has gone up. With all these interventions, the minister urged the students to work hard in their studies.
A lot of the students, they turn up at university, they think it's a picnic. Sorry. University studies is not a walk in the park sort of thing. It is commitment.
Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
Well, classes have been disrupted at Parabata Primary School in Central Province due to water shortage. Head teacher Jack Mariel is worried that disruptions might affect the grade 8s preparing to sit for their national exams. He said the school board is working hard to find a viable water source.
Parabata Primary School sits on top of sand. Getting water to drink, cook and have a bath has been a problem since the beginning of the dry spell. Students, teachers and the surrounding community wash from the sea, preserving the fresh water for drinking and cooking. They get water supply from Medaranu, but the supply is not regular.
Now at the moment we're running low now, so I don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks. It might really also affect our grade 8 examination, which is just around the corner.
The school was closed for the whole of last week. For this week onwards, they will have half-day classes starting at 8 a.m. and finishing at 12 noon. Mr. Mario said students have been missing classes due to no water to wash and go to school. Some have been wearing dirty uniforms and going to school for weeks.
The afternoon where children can send home and teachers take the time to look for water. It's not only happening at the primary school but also at the village. So we have the mothers from the village hiring vehicles and going into Port Moresby to look for water.
The students sometimes miss classes to help their families to go and buy water in Port Moresby. The school is seeking relief from the Central Provincial Government to help them with water and sanitation. Vasina Tayama, National EMTV News.
The dry spell experienced in the Southern Islands province has placed financial pressure on many town residents. Residents and business houses have been paying for water trucks to supply their water. The town people say this exercise is becoming very expensive.
The long dry spell has brought many challenges to the Southern Highlands people. For town residents, buying water is an exercise everyone is doing twice a week or even every day. Residents in town, including education institutions, are also severely affected as the tanks run dry. People are now buying water from water trucks. The labor done by water trucks is not that easy as it seems. It means traveling out of town to fetch clean, fresh water. Health awareness is also rolling out to prevent the public from buying cooked food.
We have been telling patients that you don't need to buy scones and flour balls from the shops if you're not sure of the water source.
For the Menditown residents, the longer the dry spell takes, the deeper they will dig into their pockets to buy water for the daily use.
So I'm close to them by year back amigo. So now you them dry and I'm continuing na people are wasting some like money.
Jack Lopava, Junior National, EMTV News.
How everyone is waiting for the rains to come. And now let's take a look at the finance news. The Kina closed unchanged at $0.3440 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our Kina was trading at $0.3365 $0.4635 Australian dollars, €0.2996 and 40.28 Japanese yen. Taking a look at commodity prices at New York close, gold closed the day lower, while coffee, cocoa and copra closed the day higher. Palm oil and copper closed lower, while crude oil closed higher. And finally, on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 321 points lower, the ASX closed at 117 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 122 points higher. Still to come on National EMTV News tonight, oil palm development in East New Britain and Water PNG pays dividend to Kumul Consolidated Holdings. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Indigenous landowner groups in the inland mining areas of East New Britain province are freeing up portions of their customary land in the name of development. These portions of land have been given to oil palm plantations. The mining landowners say this move has spurred more roads, schools and health clinics built in their areas for the first time in many years. MTV's Edwin Fidelis reports.
Oil palm farming hasn't been much talked about in this region where cocoa and coconut are predominantly known since the colonial days. Until recently, the crop is slowly gaining popularity in these isolated regions of East New Britain. At a groundbreaking ceremony of a new oil palm mill yesterday at Narangit, about an hour drive from Kokopo town, the landowners explained why they support oil palm.
People bring in oil palm development, they come inside. Now, we will give me all services. We will send him livelihood, sit down, people long place.
The coming of oil palm had been the most controversial topic in the province in the last 3 years. But despite negative implications of the crop, landowners believe the benefits will outweigh the costs and won't follow the same path as Indonesia, where the crop has been the main contributor to deforestation and loss of wildlife.
We play no give him all the ground. We play conserve him some play stuff, some platasol. We play give him all oil palm.
The developers of the oil palm project, Jan New Guinea, has been on the forefront, pushing for the development forward with the aim of delivering services that haven't been given to these areas for the last 40 years.
Our development is quite comprehensive, and I believe that it brings tremendous development, as well as a lot of meaningful and tangible participants by the landowners, as well as those VOPs and outgrowers.
The oil palm project is expected to generate roughly 100 million kina every year once it comes into full operation. Now, a big portion of that money will go straight to the people's pocket. Not only that, road infrastructures, health and education services are some of the key areas that the people are also looking at. The government, meanwhile, have been supporting the move taken by the landowners. The East New Britain Governor, Araminto Binding Jr. says such initiatives are filling up the void in the social services and infrastructure sector that the government haven't been attending to in many years. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Papua New Guinea Health Support Workers Association, also known as non-clinical workers, claim they have not been recognized for the last 40 years. The union's General Secretary, Jack Suau, says there have not been any improvements in their salary packages since independence. In a long list of complaints to the Department of Personnel Management, they say they want to be covered by insurance and get such allowances for risk, overtime, accommodation and mental health.
Most of these workers have been overlooked. Lots of them has been passing away. They died. They retrenched. They have been retired without having good terms and conditions during their term of employment. So if the backdated payment goes back to last 5 years, we will accommodate those people to be paid.
The steady expansion and sound management by water company Water PNG has earned a dividend of 5.6 million kina to Kumul Consolidated Holdings. Water PNG Managing Director Raka Taviri Jr. says this is an increased result of sound cash flow and prudent cost management. MTV's Jack Lapavi Jr. with this report.
The dividend presented yesterday to State Enterprise and Investment Minister Ben Micah is a turnover by the water utility during the years of 2013 and 14. These 2 years saw a steady expansion of the water company in providing water services to towns and districts across the country. The payment is a direction from the government business arm Kumul Holdings to state-owned entities to pay a dividend of 5% on total retained earnings, reserves or capital. State Enterprise Minister Ben Micah says SOEs will now focus on commercializing its operations into the future.
Eventually, this company is going to move towards a much more commercial operation, and this presentation today is a reflection of the way the board and the management have been successfully operating the company. So,
in 2013, the water company fetched a dividend of 2.6 million and 3 million in 2014. The company also made preliminary dividend payments to Kumul in 2011 and 2012, totaling to 1.2 million. Water PNG says it will maintain a careful balance between volume growth and margin and execute its long-term priorities to deliver good financial returns in the coming years. MD Raka Taviri Jr. says more collaboration between stakeholders is needed.
To be working with all other stakeholders at the national level, political level, and that Water PNG is prepared to work together.
Jack Lapavi Jr., National MTV News.
Credit Corporation Limited PNG has embarked on a rebranding campaign. The campaign acknowledges the growth of Credit Corporation and its commitment to helping local businesses grow. It launched its second phase of the rebranding campaign, Futures Funded, last night here in Port Moresby.
Credit Corporation Limited has been a leading financial institution in the country, established in 1978. Since then, it has expanded its services to capitalize on the regional market, going offshore for the first time in Fiji in 1992.
The board considers Credit Corporation a good example to the nation and to the rest of the world of what can be achieved in Papua New Guinea. We hear lots of stories about how hard it is to do business here in Papua New Guinea. But it doesn't matter where you are in the world, the private sector is competitive, and unless you get it right, you can suffer.
To enhance its portfolio among its current and prospective clients, it has embarked on a rebranding campaign. Phase 1, Funding Futures, sought to reintroduce the brand in the country, while Phase 2, Futures Funded, acknowledges its clients that have grown with the company since.
In the time since we embarked on this journey, independently conducted market research has revealed that our brand has become much more recognised national. I think Peter organised the thing, there's something like 70% of the population had knew who Credit or heard of Credit Corporation. After we did this, it was something like 98%. Although, funnily enough, a lot of people didn't know what we did.
Some of the businesses that have benefited from Credit Corporation are Dekanai Construction, Mapai Transport and Pagini Kutubu Transport. Owner of Mapai Transport, Jacob Luke, is a testament to Credit Corporation's willingness to support local businesses become successful. He says it's an investment that has come a long way with the financial assistance from Credit Corporation.
I've come this far with their support, and I think when I look back at it, I've got to thank them for supporting me at my infant stages.
Mickey Cavera, National MTV News.
The suspect, alleged to have raped a 5-year-old in late August, has been apprehended by the police today at the Madang Bogia bus stop. The suspect was tracked down by the toddler's mother herself with information from the public and with the help of the Madang Provincial Council of Women. She notified the police, who then made the arrest today.
When the suspect was pointed out by the public to the toddler's mother, she felt an urge to do something to him herself, but was advised by the public not to, so she went to the Provincial Council of Women, who assisted her and alerted the police.
Time come sana PM lekan blumi guria mi tu mas paiti mem because this la pain blumi wante pigini ni mamas plamant mi pilim lausi kya.
Peter Baki, the Family and Sexual Violence Unit Officer with the Madang Provincial Council of Women, says he's been working closely with the family since August to make sure the suspects get arrested and charged.
Mi luka tim des blonge PSVC mi totok wan tem bos Mary kamang. Mit clarity man plapasi golo PPC. Lo Madang Police Station. Lo direct team SOS unit. Usati arresting officer, usat policeman and mi go pass with the case.
Baki clarified that the suspect was arrested earlier but had escaped and that he has an accomplice in the rape who is still on the run.
One plus suspect me on the run. Naraply me staplo cell na miranavelo cell.
For fear that the police might take a while to get to the scene and the suspect might run free again, the toddler's mother, who with the public's support, made an attempt to keep the suspect there.
Police mol no kamera so miet mi take action le migo mioli collab shed blame na mi take ben. You sana play na wait stop baul police kamoli. Now mi tu plus sana long plus sampla minutes le me mo se mane emla to se biget name la lusi man blumi la rana we no at same time to mol policeman to mol gona. Mi plato ki molta rapist na mo se mol grebi meme.
The toddler's mother appreciates the public's helpful information as well as the Madang Provincial Council of Women for their full support.
Through se mol welfare mol staff now mi come inside longol na mo se mol help me. Now mi to thank you bipla thank you am golong all mi sa se mol staff na all but still back up me at lok sinara plamane.
She is now calling on the public once more, as well as the police, to help bring the second man to justice.
Bell me I'm sit down, but you know sit down. All right, you got nara plamo man mem stop. Ball police must back up me or semi plama still kisi nara plamania now, but se tell him down ting ting me.
Rachel Shise, National EMTV News, Madang.
The Lae Botanical Gardens have received attention from private business houses in Lae for a major facelift. Following today's meeting with FRI and corporate houses involved in the garden's rehabilitation, FRI Acting Director Dr. Martin Goldman raised concerns on limited land allocations for recreational avenues, portions of recreational land in Lae City that have been taken up by other developments.
FRI's Dr. Martin Goldman's concerns come after a few areas in the city that were given for recreational developments but taken away for other developments.
Places have been taken up for buildings and for other infrastructures. I'll give you an example down at the Vocal Point. That area used to be free.
Lae Botanical Garden is in plans of undergoing major rehabilitation that will give a relaxing recreational area for both Lae residents and the visiting public. FRI with a few corporate houses in Lae have come together to redevelop Lae Botanical Gardens with the aim to transform the 60-year-old garden.
Without the support from both the commercial community as well as the provincial government, we cannot make this a reality, so we would really require the support from the provincial government as well.
The Botanical Gardens, located in the heart of Lae City, has seen little change since its creation. Today, a garden designing company from Australia launched design plans of Lae Botanical Gardens with FRI and members of Port Moresby's Nature Park.
National Botanic Gardens has a long pedigree of being one of the world's great wet tropics gardens. The other one is in Cairns in Australia.
This 38-hectare botanical garden in the country's industrial hub has potential of becoming a world-class garden that could possibly attract tourists.
By next year, the Lae Botanical Gardens will be improved to be a safer recreational spot for Lae residents. Now, it will be similar to that of Port Moresby's Nature Park. Colin Barilai, National EMTV News, Lae.
Well, National EMTV News continues with True Guy Sports, which is coming up next. Stay tuned for all the details.
Tukai Sports.
Thanks for joining me with True Guy Sports. After 10 years, the Port Moresby Squash Association is back on track with their new home at the Port Moresby Rackets Club. The Rackets Club was refurbished for the Pacific Games, and after recently successfully hosting the tennis and squash events, it has now become the association's new home for competitions in the city.
Former members of the association are making a return following positive changes and advances to the club's administration.
Seeing the old people coming back, it gets emotional with us sometimes because we've been struggling in venues, and since the competition, seeing more of the older players coming in, it gives an inspiration to the younger players that are still coming up.
The upgrading of the club has enabled the association to move forward with plans to develop and grow the game of squash and tennis in Papua New Guinea.
We're 4 weeks into our junior program, and we've already got over 40 kids joined up. A lot of new kids, and certainly you can see the talent coming through there. So exciting times for us with a new venue, and it can only be, get better from here.
Father of tennis superstar Abigail Terry Apisa and current PNG tennis coach Kualum Apisa has been running junior development programs.
It's going well. Saturdays are full up here with all the kids, junior tennis and squash. So it's been going good.
PNG's top squash athlete Lynette Vai has returned to Port Moresby and will be looking to use her experience abroad in Singapore to train and develop future squash athletes.
November, we would also like to take this opportunity to announce the competition that's going to be sponsored by Lay Biscuit. It's called the 2015 Lay Biscuit Palm Open.
With the new and improved racket club, they will be hosting the Palm Squash and Tennis Open next month, featuring squash and tennis reps from all around the country. Elijah Lavette, National EMTV Sports.
Sports Minister Justin Chichenko says the PNG government will pump 15 million kina into upgrading all facilities to be used during the 2016 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Port Moresby. Chichenko made the comments while welcoming the news of FIFA's approval of Papua New Guinea's hosting rights.
The current facilities in the nation's capital will be upgraded to cater for the FIFA 2016 Under-20 Women's World Cup. The government will be assisting to see all venues upgraded as well as improve the major venues in the city such as the Sir John Guy Stadium and Bissini Soccer Field. The money will also be used to upgrade the fields and training facilities at schools around NCD. Minister Chichenko says all facilities will be improved, from the playing surface to the building of change rooms and basically modernizing existing facilities. The contractors currently working on the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium and the National Football Stadium are working along FIFA guidelines to ensure they are built to international football standards. The tournament will be staged in Port Moresby next year in November and will attract 15 nations playing in 4 pools. 9 nations have confirmed, including PNG, with the remaining 7 spots available to be decided in qualifiers that are currently being staged. Dion Kombang, National EMTV Sports.
Well, True Guy Sports continues after the break with more. Stay with us.
True Guy Sports.
To the Cup and Plate playoffs today. Parramatta Bulldogs have advanced to meet Arama Coast West in the Cup finals at a later date. Venues for the finals are yet to be confirmed. MTV's Rafaela Kaure reports.
The competition is in its second year, with 8 teams participating. So far, 4 teams, Parramatta Bulldogs, Arama Coast West, Keakalo Trackers and Goilala Karukas, are vying for a spot in the Cup finals. Tournament Director David Silovo says the competition is a pathway of developing aspiring rugby league talent. From the competition, a team will be selected for the Intercity Cup competition.
Yeah, well, our intentions are straightforward. As soon as this cup is decided, the grand final will be on the 6th of November. That's in about 2 weeks' time. After the grand final, so we'll have our other program, which is the District Origin Series. 2 teams from the west, 2 teams from the east playing together, and then we'll put a 40-man squad for our team which we are vying for, which is the Central Chiefs team.
Winners of the cup will walk away with a total prize money of 30,000 kina and a Kilahauda Cup. Plate gets 15,000 and bowl gets 5,000. Rafaela Kaure, National EMTV Sports.
Well, following one of the most controversial wins in the 2015 Rugby World Cup, the Wallabies have shifted their focus to a game that has the potential to work in both favours. On Monday morning, the Wallabies will take on the Argentinian Pumas. While the Aussies have become familiar with the style of rugby played by the Pumas from the Rugby Championships, they certainly aren't taking things lightly for this weekend's semi-finals.
With Scott CEO David Pocock and Israel Folau still in doubt with injuries sustained over the past 2 weeks, the Wallabies' most senior player Matt Giddo has said the team will be expecting nothing less of a challenge from the Pumas.
Every World Cup they're very good. I think whatever they do, they always seem to peak in these tournaments. Every game is going to be tough. You can't underestimate them. We won't underestimate them. It's a semi-final. You can't. It just won't happen.
Vardy, who featured in the quarterfinals due to Hooper's suspension and Pocock's injury, says what could be his first World Cup semi-final will be huge for him individually and the team.
I haven't been to a World Cup before. This is going to be a massive game for me. Yeah, it's the biggest game I've played so far in my career.
While coach Michael Chaker is yet to name his team for the Argentina matchup, Aussie fans are banking on the return of the Pocock and Hooper combination. Meanwhile, Aussie rugby commentator Gordon Bray says Argentina has the advantage of working under a clever coach.
Daniel Orcade is a very clever coach. They call him the Tinker Man because he hasn't really picked his best team until last week. And I think we saw what they could do.
Argentina defeated Ireland 43-20 in last week's quarterfinals and are looking promising for the match that is expected to kick off in the early hours of Monday morning. Lorraine Genia, National EMTV Sports.
Well, that report wraps up True Guy Sports tonight. Stay tuned. We have the weather details when we come back.
Tukai Sports.
Let's take a quick look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In southern region, Port Moresby dry, although low clouds at times. In Momase, mostly fine, expected in all centres. In the New Guinea Islands, brief showers likely developing over Kokopo and Rabaul. And lastly, in the islands regional centres, dry weather, although cloudy at times. Now, recapping our main headlines tonight before we go. One suspect caught, 4 others escape in failed armed robbery attempt in Port Moresby. Also, suspected child rapist apprehended in Madang, and 4 girls killed in a road accident in Ley City, laid to rest. And that's how we wrap up another working week. On behalf of the news crew, I'm Tokana Asavi Jr. You take care and have an enjoyable weekend. Good night.